Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 50. It is day 50. We have 20 days left. In terms of the countdown, we are basically into the teens. And then before you know it, single digits. And then the challenge is done. And I know a lot of you are feeling maybe a bit anxious because you want to know what's going to happen post-challenge, how to maintain this. And so I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to try to talk about this over several videos. The exit strategy that I'm going to give you guys is actually even simpler than what I used to give people. I just want to make this as simple as possible. Of course, I want to help you guys. And, you know, it's really important that I lay the groundwork because I want you to feel confident and I don't want you to feel confused, okay? A lot of people, well, there's a lot of, you know, different systems out there. And if a system worked for you, I think that's great, okay? Whether it's a system of, you know, eating less hours in the day, whether it's a system of very low carbohydrates, maybe it's a system of you know, avoiding animal products. The list goes on. The point is it's got to be a system that works for you long term. Of course, the way that I set this up, in my opinion, is the easiest way. I give you basically access to all foods. Of course, I am a little more aggressive in this challenge in terms of reduction of calories, which actually isn't even really that aggressive, so that we can see some change throughout the challenge. We can see some good change, some pretty aggressive change, really. We're talking about a 30% fat loss. That is 30% fat loss of your total fat mass, right? Not body fat percentage. That's different. So I'm trying to give you guys a system that, you know, gives you as much flexibility as possible. So I think what I'll do now is just answer a question because although I did answer this a couple videos ago, and then I'll get back to the topic of what you're going to do post challenge. Okay. So just on the topic of visceral fat, somebody asked me what exactly is visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat that sits intra-abdominal. It sits in between your organs, and we generally see this in people that have other things or other lifestyle or metabolic type diseases. We'll call them diseases because they really are a dis-ease. They are a dis-ease of the body, okay? So, but generally visceral fat is an accumulation of fat in the, my phone's killing me here. In the, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. The visceral fat is something that we tend to see in people who have other lifestyle or metabolic type related issues. So it's almost like they're all packaged together, okay? Visceral fat in and of itself, I'm not sure if it's actually a bad thing, right? Just like body fat in and of itself, I'm not sure if in and of itself it's a bad thing, but it's certainly something that we see that it's like a byproduct of the way that we live. What we consume, what we do throughout the day, you know, what is our overall lifestyle, right? What are we consuming? What are we eating? Okay, let's be more specific here. What are we eating? What are we doing for exercise? How much exercise are we doing, right? Stress. I mean, stress I think is really underrated here. I think stress can play a huge part. I know I've gone through, I would consider myself to be somebody who is pretty in tune with the way their body feels, and I've gone through periods of stress. And I cannot begin to explain how different my body feels when I'm going through periods of stress. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much my energy level is down, and it's unbelievable how much my body physically hurts. Okay, now I'm not in like severe pain, but my joints, I feel my joints way more. It's unbelievable. Okay, so getting back on the topic of visceral fat, okay, That is the fat in your abdominal cavity, in between your organs. There's another kind of fat called ectopic fat, which is fat inside your organs. And of course, then we've got the subcutaneous fat. That's the fat that sits underneath your skin, okay? All right. Generally, though, we tend to see higher visceral fat amounts in people who exercise less, who don't particularly pay attention to their diet, in general, who tend to eat a lot of high sugar, high fat foods in their diet. And of course, we see this visceral fat along with other health markers like high blood pressure, high resting glucose, blood glucose levels, poor cholesterol carrier numbers. Maybe they have signs of atherosclerosis, right? So hardening of the arteries. Of course, this comes along with people who are overweight or perhaps obese. I should say definitely obese. The list goes on and on and on. Type 2 diabetic, etc. So, again, this is not something that in and of itself I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but it's usually an indication of other factors in your life, okay? So hopefully you find that helpful. But, in terms of everything I just talked about, all those little dis-eases of the body, and I really want to stress it's a dis-ease of the body. These are things that we can, I think, in large part, or perhaps wholly, we can avoid because they are all just lifestyle based, okay? So it's just about putting in those habits, those daily habits, and being aware of what you're consuming and being aware of how much you're doing, okay? It's really that simple. Okay, what are we going to do after the challenge? Or what are you going to do after the challenge? My suggestion is this. Okay, listen, there are many systems you can follow that will help you to keep your weight down. Okay, I wouldn't say there are many systems that help you to stay metabolically inefficient and keep your muscle mass high. That's different. Okay, but there are many systems that will help you to get your overall weight down. Okay, which I think it's certainly not the whole story, okay? Certainly you don't care if your weight's down and it's as a result of you losing a limb, okay? Because obviously you don't want to lose weight that way. And hopefully you will not, care about losing weight just by getting rid of water in your body, because that's not really going to help you either, okay? And hopefully you will not want to bring your weight down by losing things like bone mass and muscle mass. Okay, basically any kind of lean body mass, okay, because this is really, really important, especially as you get older. You're already going to be losing that as is, okay? So we don't want to go there. So in my mind, obviously I gave you this system because I think it's the easiest system for you to follow, in that all foods are open to you, right? And of course, I'm lowering your fat and your carbohydrates. I have to do these changes in the challenge. I have to make some relative change for you to see a significant, because we are making a significant change in this challenge in 10 weeks. But in general, as a lifestyle measure, I wouldn't make such a drastic change for anybody who's just looking to improve their lifestyle over the very long term, which is hopefully what you're trying to do, not just short term. Short term is different. Getting ready for a bodybuilding show or something, that's different, okay? That's a very short term goal. What we want is something that we're going to be happy with for the rest of our lives, right? We want something that is going to stick, right? Okay? And as a result, you have to stick to the quote, right things, okay? So, what is my suggestion? My suggestion is to keep your protein high, okay? How high? In the range that I gave you. And my other suggestion is to keep your calories. These notifications on my phone are killing me. I got to turn them off. Notifications from everything. Anyways, keeping your protein high and then keeping the remainder of your calories there as well. Now, how you want to divide the rest of those calories amongst fat and carbohydrates, we can we could probably play with that somewhat, right? We could play with those ratios, and it's probably not going to make that much of a difference. Okay? But for the sake of this challenge, I give you very specific numbers, and I want you to stick with those numbers because we're looking for a short-term goal, right? But after this challenge, coming back to this whole thing about what to do, protein high, and keep your calories somewhere in the number that I gave you. Okay, so what would be reasonable? Week 5 numbers, so in the middle somewhere. Okay, but if you stick within that, if you keep your protein where it is and you stay within that calorie range that I gave you, okay, and then let's say you go up and down a little bit, but you do that over months and months and months, you know, you should be very, very happy with the results. Okay, and of course, this is under the understanding that you're going to continue to weight train. Okay, you've got to keep the exercise component in there. Okay, going for walks and stuff like that, that's great. That's going to help you, but it's not going to help you in terms of lean muscle mass, bone density, etc. Okay. All right, in lean mass in general. Okay, so I'm going to really encourage you to keep 3 weight training sessions in per week. Keep your protein up and watch your total calories. There, that's the formula. Literally, that's what it is. But maintain that over and over and over, day after day, for hopefully the rest of your life. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop there, but I will talk more on this, okay? Message of the day. Holy jeez, I'm at almost 12 minutes. It's ridiculous. Okay, day 50 here. Those who remain focused win. Okay, let's not use win because who cares? Those who remain focused succeed, okay? It's about winning your own domain, okay? Obviously, okay? You know, obviously when we talk about win, we're usually talking about competing against an external entity. I'm just talking about you competing against yourself, right? So let's say this. Those who remain focused succeed and will continue to succeed, all right? Do your day in and day out things. That will make the difference. Believe me. It doesn't sound sexy, okay? I realize that. I'm not giving you a pill or something that's going to, you know, make you lose 10 pounds in a week. I know that. But I know that's also all a sham. Believe me, I've been in this area. I've been doing what I've been doing now for, 23 years. And I've had a really strong interest and aptitude for it for 33 years, right? Was it about 33 years? No, not that long. 31 years. Anyways, I've been thinking about this for a long time, okay? And always trying to seek out the truth. All right. That's all I'm going to say. Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself for the love of God. Give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you guys all soon. Day 50 in the books. Hitting the teens tomorrow in terms of the remaining days. Hold on tight. Head down. Go hard. And remember, those who remain focused succeed, right? Talk to you all soon. See ya.